The other experience I had that was really big, because there are little things that, maybe it was just wishful thinking. There are these other ones, the two dreams I've told you about, and this thing that for me are just, no one's gonna be able to convince me that I did not experience what I fully did experience. There was the first one that happened that was huge after my child died was about 3-ish months after she passed. I was driving, and I don't remember exactly what it was that brought her to my mind. I mean, constantly throughout the day I think about her. And this one time though, I was driving and something made me think of her, and as soon as I thought about her purposefully, allowed myself to think about her, I experienced this splitness. This that I've tried to explain to you, that the first time I really remember it happening in a profound way was the 9/11 experiences I had. And I've had other sort of smaller things over the years, and then this was the first really big one again that I remember very clearly. 3 months after she died, I felt this split where I know I was myself and I was driving and I was perfectly safe, and I was also myself. Sorry. In the hospital that she was in, and she was alive, and we were packing up because they were releasing her. And I think this is just me philosophizing about, alternate realities and stuff. But I think there are realities where, my day is their night and all this stuff that can be different. I think the dream one I told you about a couple times ago and this one though were in sync. I was in a certain time in my day and it was the same time in this other dimension or parallel reality or whatever. And I was trying to be really, really upbeat for my girl, and she was also trying to be really happy. And we were talking about plans and things and how to make it possible for her to visit her pigs. Even though she would be limited to the wheelchair for a while because, with the her pelvis was broken in the accident, and this reality was obviously very close in line with mine, except that my child didn't die in it, obviously, but everything else was the same, basically. I think they actually did the pressure releasing surgery to relieve her brain of the pressure. That is what I believe killed her. What really killed her was the doctors deciding that she was brain dead, which is not a real thing. And that's a whole nother issue. Oh boy. Don't you tell me it is, because I know it's not. The brain is alive as long as the body's alive, and it can heal. It just takes longer than any other thing in the body. You just have to give it time. And hospitals and doctors are not willing to give it the time it needs, and that's ultimately why my child died. She was struggling in this alternate reality, this different place, into this other part of the world reality. She was struggling with the fact that she really didn't have any front teeth anymore, which that's a whole nother thing. But her leg was still, she was taking a bunch of antibiotics for the wound in her leg because her left shin, there's this huge cut, and in my reality they wouldn't even do anything for it because they declared her dead within less than 24 hours of her arrival at the hospital. And so they viewed it as operating on a cadaver, and they wouldn't do that. And they wouldn't give her nourishment, which is another reason she died, because, you know, bodies need to be fed and nourished to heal. I just feel so angry about so much around that whole situation. I am absolutely certain, though I have not been diagnosed officially, that I have PTSD from the experiences around losing my child. And losing somebody is bad enough, but having PTSD on top of it. It's not PTSD anymore. It's PTS, post-traumatic stress, because it's not a disorder, guys. It's not. There's nothing in me broken. My psyche is doing its very best to make it possible for me to move forward in as much health as possible through really horrifying situations and circumstances and experiences. And that is the case with anyone who has PTS. It's not a disorder. It is not a disorder. It is the psyche and the highest self doing its best to make us as well as we possibly can be through just horrifying stuff. So, if you're not my kid, or even if you are and you find this and I'm still alive and you want to have a chat with me on here, you know, it's cool. But if you're not my kid and you want to share something with me about, like, your own experience of a alternate, like a split experience where you know you're still yourself in your own body doing your own thing and you're experiencing yourself in another timeline or something, especially if it's grief related, I would love to hear it. But even any kind of split experience like that, I am so curious if I'm the only one. How could that be? I'm special because we're all special. I'm not like short bus special, which is totally cool. I'm not, but I kind of wish I was sometimes. You know, they're just so happy. And I have struggled to feel happy in my life. Like a poor wayfaring woman of grief. Oh, man. Anyway, so, yeah. I love you.